The 365 Pro Wrestling.
365 Nation, welcome to another 365 Pro Wrestling podcast. This is episode 46, and today I'm hanging out, I'm talking to the former PWA commissioner, Erich Aufleger. How's it going, man?
Not too bad, Eddie. Thanks for having me here.
Oh, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it. Now,
Sure.
what got you into pro wrestling? That's what I like to hear, like when everyone has a story, like how they first got into pro wrestling.
Well, pro wrestling, I it was like one of those, I was part of that generation, kind of came up in the, taboo sort of backyard wrestling back in the day. It was kind of something you didn't really talk about, but that's kind of where I came up. Made friends with a bunch of the boys from Campbell River, and we had a guy in Port Alberni, cremator, Cody Washington. He had his own thing, and we all just kind of became friends through that. And then it kind of, it went from there. We as at one point, and then finally, eventually, we realized that you can't keep doing the backyard thing forever, right? Like, you're just stupid kids doing stuff that you don't know what you're doing. You're gonna get hurt, right? So, we all eventually kind of branched out. Sean and Cody, they went and they got trained. They started wrestling for ECCW, and a few years later, I followed doing the referee gimmick. So.
And you had a very funny story I remember about refereeing one time. Would you care to share it, or is it something you don't want to let people know about?
Oh, no. I'm totally fine with sharing that. I'm assuming you're referring to when I ripped my pants.
Yes.
Is that the story? That's the story you want me to tell?
For sure, if you're willing to.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine. So, Ice, most people on the local independent scene know Ice. He used to run his own company called Just Wrestling. And we were doing a show in Nanaimo, Vancouver Island Cup tournament. And I think you were actually at that show. You and Cuba.
Yep.
Yeah. So we were doing the show, and of course, I get there, and I know it's quite common now to have just one referee. Like Tim usually does the VIPW shows by himself, but back then it was not common. Usually we had 2 or 3 guys, so you got a little bit of a break in between matches and stuff. I get to this show and I find out I'm the only referee, so I got to do every match, and it's all singles matches. It's a round robin tournament. There ended up being like, I don't know, it was something crazy. It was like 14, 16 matches on the card, because of course it was like a round robin tournament. He had to do it all on one night, and I'm a bit of a plus size fella, right? Those who know me know that I'm a man that likes donuts, So we do this show, and my pants could not handle the stress of up and down constantly for like 14 matches. So like literally going into the last match, I had ripped the crotch of my pants, had torn so bad that you could see like from the back of my kneecap all the way up to like my crotch area. It was just completely torn out. Oh, it was brutal. And Ocho Rios, I believe you've had him on your podcast show. Yes.
Yep.
So, he was one of the fans in the audience that night, and, Ocho was really known for, he was quite a loud fan. Let's just leave it at that. And
he was a shit disturber.
Yes, he was a shit disturber. And me being a very stupid, naive friend of his, I went up to him like, oh man, this sucks. I got one more match to referee, and I ripped my pants and I showed him. He begins to laugh very hard, and I think he might have even grabbed the hold of the rip and made it bigger.
Jeez.
So I'm sliding in the ring, and he starts chanting, "The referee ripped his pants." And he literally got the entire building chanting, "The referee ripped his pants." So, big deal then. Not so big deal now. I mean,
no, referees, they tear their pants all the time. But the whole thing that, like, it was the main event, you made it through almost the whole show, and then it was knees to ass hanging out, just
pretty much.
And then the whole crowd chanting. That's what makes the story funny to me. And that our asshole friend would do that to you is even better.
Realistically though, now, I mean, you look back on it, I mean, I could also take that experience as my first crowd pop, right?
For sure.
So not too bad. And also when I got back to the locker room, I can't remember, this is years ago now, and I'm trying to remember if it was Vance, Nevada, or it was one of the vets in the locker room just came up to me and gave me a pat on the shoulder, and he's just like, good on you for doing your job and refereeing, finishing shit up. Like some people wouldn't do it. They just, they'd be like, I'm out, right? But you went out there and you did your job. You refereed the whole match with practically no pants on. So.
Oh man. But after that, you kind of took a little break. You're kind of focusing on your career, your family, and stuff like that. And you went away for a little while. And then I opened up the school here in Campbell River. You're living in Campbell River. And naturally, you gravitated back.
Well, actually, there was, like I said, I was like in and out over the course of the last 14, 15 years or so, like that. I started off refereeing, then I kind of drifted away.
Oh, I forgot about pop culture.
But I came back a few years later, and I didn't really want to do the refereeing thing because I'd done that. I feel like I did all I wanted to do with that, and I kind of just wanted to try something different. And I know my buddy Sean called me up, Ice, and he's like, "Hey, how would you feel about being a manager?" And I was like, I honestly, I never thought of it. I knew that at the time I was thinking like I would never ever be a wrestler, but I knew that I was kind of bored with the whole referee thing, and I'd never given the manager thing even a thought, right? And I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. You grow up and you watch all these guys on TV, like Classy Freddie Blassie. He managed all these different guys, and for a lot of them that didn't have the ability to shine on the microphone, these managers were the guys that were like that stepping stone in between, right? They really brought a lot of life to the characters. I'm like, that sounds actually kind of cool. I think it should be awesome. So, and I came back, and it was Sean and Cole Bishop. They were Pop Culture, and I ended up being their manager in ECCW.
And that was a pretty cool thing. You were CP then, right? You were Canadian. Well,
yeah. Okay. So everybody, all the boys have called me CP, for forever. Like my entire friendship, everyone's called me CP. That started off in the backyard when I wrestled. I was Canadian Psycho. But then obviously going forward, I wasn't the wrestler anymore. But Sean's like, well, let's just stick with CP. The idea of the management gimmick was a bodyguard. So he said, so we're going to call you Canadian Protection. So
that was it.
Yeah.
And how many events did you guys do with them? I know you had a good time with them. You guys came out, you mimicked, who was it, Natural, and was it Scotty and somebody?
Oh, that was actually a really funny story because we would go over there and we always did double shows. We do Friday night in Surrey, and then we would do the Saturday night at the RCC in Vancouver. And I remember going over there, and we stopped off at Metrotown Mall on the first day, on the Friday, and we actually ran into LC.
Yep.
LC was there, and I mean, I love LC. Okay, he's the man. Whether he is wrestling or he is out of wrestling, he's still LC. He is LC. That is his personal life. as well as his wrestling life. We run into this guy at the mall. We're like, hey, LC, how's it going, boys? The LC voice.
Hell yeah.
We ran into a few other guys, and we ended up finding out that Natural was having this shirt made for him in Dog Ear, or one of those t-shirt printing shops. And it was pretty much like a pink shirt that said The Natural on the front, and then on the back it said Chilltown's executive consultant, right? So Chilltown was another faction back then that consisted of Scotty Mac and Dropkick Murphy, and The Natural was their manager. And then, of course, myself and Pop Culture. And Sean figures that this is going to be a hilarious gag. So what we got to do is we got to hijack Natural's shirt. He's supposed to pick it up the next day for the show at the RCC, but we kind of snuck in there, and I don't know how we did it, but we convinced the guy to give us the shirt. We paid for it, of course, but we hijacked Natural's shirt. He's got no idea. We're going to do the show in Surrey that night, and we decide that we're going to do this mocking of Chilltown. So I dressed up like Scotty Mac, and Bishop dressed up like Dropkick, and I dressed up like The Natural. I had like this blue little stretchy thing in my hair and these ridiculous heart sunglasses and this t-shirt. And our music hits and we come out, and Nat that night was on the announce table. He was calling the play-by-play for the show. And the look on his face was priceless. You see me go, you had to be there to see it. He's like, that's my fucking shirt.
That's amazing, man. No, that's awesome. You guys had a lot of fun. Definitely had a lot of fun doing the manager gig. It's probably one of the funnest things I ever got to do. And of course, we were a boy band, so it was a heel faction. And as I'm sure you know, very fun to play the heel. It's fun to get heat. It's easy to get heat, and that kind of pop was just awesome for me. I remember when we did a show in the RCC. It was a tag match. I wanted to say that it was Baba and his. I can't remember who we were up against, but we had a guy that went to the show. His name is Omar. Yep. Really awesome dude. Huge wrestling fan. And am I allowed to say anything on this podcast? I can. Yeah, man.
So there's no censorship?
No.
Okay, so they're in wrestling, doing the tag match. I'm on the outside, getting heat, walking around, ripping up fans' signs and just causing chaos. And next thing I know, I walk over to this little kid, and he's got a sign that says, pop culture sucks. So, I rip it out of his hand and I just tear it right in half and hand it back to him, and the kid's upset and stuff. And the dad's kind of giving me heck. And the next thing I know, Omar on the other side of the ring, he starts chanting CP sucks dick. And before you know it, I mean, we had sellout crowd. I don't know how many people the RCC holds, but literally the entire building was chanting CP sucks dick, and I'm just kind of wandering around the outside of the ring screaming out, shut up, I do not.
How do you know? No, I don't. That's amazing, man. Is that one of your favorite memories, like doing the skit, getting some heat like that? Like what was your favorite moment in pop culture?
My favorite moment in pop culture, it's really tough to pick one, because we did, there's a lot of vignettes they filmed. I liked a lot of the stuff they did before I came along, because obviously I actually wasn't a part of pop culture right from the very beginning. Sean and Bishop were solo for a little while. They actually introduced me. I would say that if I had to pick a favorite moment, it would probably be my debut, just because that seems to be a special moment for everybody, right? So
Gentlemen, I've cut it right here just because I want to talk to CP again, to Erich Aufleger again, about his debut, about his joining the Pro Wrestling Academy, becoming the Pure Wrestling Association Commissioner, and a whole lot more next time. And remember, if you need tickets to our event on February 22nd in Campbell River or February 29th in Kitchener, you can get them today at 365prowrestling.com. Can't wait to talk to you guys again tomorrow. Have a great night.